Alright, welcome everybody. In this section, kind of complementary to the introduction section, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the typical results from implementing the Lean Concepts program, start to finish. And so what's going to be covered here, these are actual real-world results from a real project, and this organization had a limited use of Lean in any of the skills, tools, familiarity with it before starting on the Lean Concepts program. Now there were some existing struggles. This was the demand driving the interest in starting on this type of transition. They really break down into measurable and immeasurable in terms of fulfilling customer demands on the measurable side. There were struggles with sustaining any improvements that had been made. There was stability issues, on-time delivery issues, and labor cost issues. Kind of the immeasurable side of it, which the two are interrelated. There were some issues with problem-solving skill and capability, the responsiveness of management to problems in real time, and then there also, kind of as an undertone, there was a little bit of a culture of can't in terms of being able to overcome some of these challenges. So that was the initial environment. It's not an uncommon environment. And then we'll take a look at some of the results after they started the Lean Concepts program and were able to implement it to a successful endpoint before being able to kind of take it from there and continue the work on their own. So the first thing we'll look at is the average unit production. And we'll go ahead and draw on there the demarcation lines before the Lean Concepts program, the first year and into the second year. And what we can see is a couple things out of this production day chart. Initially, after starting the Lean Concepts program, over the course of about 1 year, they were able to improve daily unit production by about a half unit per day. But there's a couple other things that this chart tells us. Remember, some of the initial struggles they were having were with stability, so you can see the large swings in production output before starting in the Lean Concepts program, and then transitioning to year 2, how much more stable and consistent and repeatable the production is, even at an elevated level. And what that really translates to in this case was an extra 100 units per year, which was a 51% increase in production output after starting on this Lean Concepts program. Another thing they were struggling with was their on-time delivery. So we'll again draw the lines on. And as we can see at the beginning of starting the Lean Concepts program, on-time delivery for that month was 0%, which was, I think the previous year the average was about 12%. And we were able to see that within the first year, that average, there we go, 12% before Lean Concepts, and by year 2, average on-time delivery had gone from 12% to 93%. And again, it's important to point out the stability with which it was achieved and the sustainability. I mean, we can see that there was a rapid increase in on-time delivery once we were able to establish some stability, but that general elevated level was sustained for over a year and continues to be sustained. This is another way of looking at ahead or behind delivery. We'll draw the lines again before and after, and as we can see, this shows the days ahead or behind schedule. And before starting the Lean Concepts program, production had gotten to where it was over a month behind schedule before recovering some of that down to about a week and a half through overtime. But as we can see that after adopting the Lean Concepts program, that ahead or behind condition had shifted primarily towards now actually not only were they producing 51% more product, but they were doing so ahead of schedule without the same overtime demands that they had needed before. And again, before Lean Concepts, production for that year an average of 18 days late per unit. As early as year 2, they had changed that all the way to 4 days early, so about 3 weeks per unit. Looking at the work balance charts, this just shows the number of processes that were actually being used to produce. Before starting the program, there were 11 total processes on the production line that was studied. In year 2, that had been reduced down to 8 processes. So over the course of the Lean Concepts program, implementing some of these concepts, they were able to effect a reduction of 27% in the total number of processes needed to produce those units. That's so a third, reduction of about a third in the number of physical processes. Then another one of their struggles initially had been labor hours per unit, and so we're able to see, we can draw the lines up again before Lean Concepts year 1 and year 2. So we can see before Lean Concepts they were about just under 80 hours per unit to build. By midway through the first year, that had come all the way down near their target to 40 units. And then the important thing, again, when considering sustainability and stability as existing struggles for this organization, is to look at the stability with which they were able to sustain that level of improved performance. I mean, again, in the real world, problems do happen, but in talking again about some of their immeasurables, the difficulty in problem solving, we can see now a number of spots where the labor spiked up and they were able to respond to it appropriately and solve those problems to bring it back into an acceptable condition. So there's quite a bit that's shown on these charts in terms of the transition in skill and capability of the organization at meeting their own goals after using the Lean Concepts program. And again, what that correlates with is about a 40% reduction in labor with the Lean Concepts program. This actually shows the lead time, so the amount of time to produce the unit. We can draw the lines up again before and after. So before starting with Lean Concepts, each unit took about 40 days in production to produce. By the end of year one, that had been reduced down to about 16 days, so essentially a 60% reduction in lead time over the course of 1 year by using the Lean Concepts program, incorporating this material into the culture and really driving towards an effective lean transformation. This particular KPI is important for a couple reasons. We can go ahead and just draw the line up. We can see that it didn't get started. It wasn't started, had not been started. The tracking hadn't been started until after we had started with the Lean Concepts program. But what we can see out of this is where there was a growing spike in the amount of processing time necessary to complete this particular task. We were able to identify that as a production bottleneck. There was a Jidoka Kaizen activity done to eliminate that bottleneck. And then the important thing out of using these KPIs is we were able to see that immediate result. And then again, in terms of sustainment and stability, we can see now that moving into the second year, once we had completed that Kaizen, confirmed our results, they were able to sustain it for a period of months. There was an abnormal condition that was leading to a growing behind condition, and they were able to apply their problem-solving skills that they had developed to rectify that in short time. So again, this is another good chart showing not just direct tangible benefit, but also you can see the results of the immeasurable benefits from incorporating the Lean Concepts program into the culture and the human development that can come out of it. So just as a quick summary of what we've looked at with this, there's a couple key metrics that they hit on. Remember, the key struggles were labor, on-time delivery, stability, and sustainment. And what we were able to achieve, as we've shown, is a 20% reduction in the number of processes, so cutting the floor space by a third, a 40% reduction in labor, a 60% reduction in lead time, increasing the rate of on-time delivery from 12% to 93%, and doing all of those while increasing the production volume by 51%. And all of this was done in an 18-month time frame. And so the real question out of that then is hopefully this is used to kind of start a conversation or a discussion in terms of what this material, what this program, how it can be beneficial to your organization.